Gjør klart til opptak. Klaffer?
No.
Please, 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 please.
You're still playing detective. How quick?
I can assure you that I can get to the bottom of this for a never so professional fee.
Murder, missing treasure, ghosts.
9 lives, this one.
Hello, welcome to Unrestricted View Film Festival. My name's James Wren and I'm the festival director. For this episode, I'm joined by Mahan Khomamipour and Zakaria Zargani from the fantastic film Simulation of Mr. Yellow. Thanks, guys, for joining us. How are you?
Okay, Mahan and me, Zakaria. I'm very happy to be with you with this edition. I am distributor and co-producer of this film, Simulation of Mr. Yellow. And yeah, the mic up.
Nice to meet you too. Hope you have a good day. I am Mahan Khomamipour, director of Simulation of Mr. Yellow. And I'm really happy to be part of your film festival.
Thank you very, very much. Before we start talking about the film, what I've been asking all the filmmakers is how the COVID-19 pandemic has affected filmmaking in their countries. I mean, has it made it much more difficult for you to do stuff?
Like any other place in the world, yes, a little bit, but I believe it is okay to work with danger. So for me, by myself, I'm having fun. The streets are less crowded and you can get better shots sometimes. It's fun now, to be honest. I like this way more.
Okay.
Everything go online and you can continue without most of the problem. Like when people see the camera, they have a lot of reaction to it, and right now it's less and I'm having fun with it.
Oh, good. That's good to know. So Simulation of Mr. Yellow, tell us how this all came about.
Simulation started around 4 years ago. In Middle East we always had war, we still have war. And war is a part that can't be separated of any culture around here in Middle East. And when I became 25 years old, I told to myself, okay, it's time to do something important, Mahan. So I decided to go to Syria and make documentary about Syria, but not about war, about the people who lives in the war. And it was the beginning.
Yeah, as a production company, I talked to Mahan to do you like to go to Syria to have it is war situation. Do you like to go there to present there? And he's like a filmmaker. He like to present himself in many dangerous places and just want to make himself be. It's not important the situation, and so he's accepted. Even there, he came back with 3 films, and one of them Simulation of Mr. Yellow.
Fantastic. So how did you find out about this story?
About the story. When I wanted to go to the Syria, I started searching. And I saw a little bit the video you have seen in the film. And in the Syria, I looked for the yellow man. And in fact, the story came exactly from me by myself. I was really not prepared for Syria in this way. You know, everything was destroyed. You couldn't find somebody. If you could find somebody, they wouldn't trust you. They didn't trust our camera, and it was hard to work until I met that old man. And it was a good situation for making film of him because he didn't talk at all, so it was okay for me. I started making my documentary about him with my story about him, and in the end, everything went good. I think now he's okay in Syria. He's dying for yeah.
In our company, we are searching for the interesting topics, and we suggest the topics to the filmmakers. It's just topics, and then they're gonna make themselves films. And when we searched about Masariello, it was different stories about him. Somebody he was saying he's in love with a football team that they are wearing yellow. Many stories, many stories. And Mahan also faced a different story, and he made himself a story. But it is somehow between a true story and his artistic way of thinking about him.
You know, that's exactly I call it simulating. You know, sometimes for me it's funny that this film doesn't are not separated for me in two different parts, like fiction movie or documentary movie. I just make films, and it is funny for me that sometimes, a lot of times, this film will be accepted in documentary part.
Yeah,
I know that man is real. I know this, the places are real. I know I was in Syria, and these are part of the documentary, but the story is completely made by me. And you know, it was funny for me that it will be accepted in documentary film
Also,
festivals.
it's accepted in many
Fiction.
film festivals, also
Yeah.
in experimental film festivals.
yes, of course, because we've taken it on as a documentary. Yes, and nominated it for an award. You know, so it's
Thank you very much.
No, it's it's in the way it's documentary because he been there. He heard many story about him, and so anybody make him story about the Mr. Yellow, and he made the story he faced.
We kind of, you know, for me it was this story is not the story that you hear the first time. This is a heritage style story that happens all over the world. So I was looking for a story that everybody can understand that man. And what could be better than love? It is not a documentary about war. In fact, it is a documentary about love. And I like it. I like it by experiencing it in this way.
yeah, yeah, no, and fantastic, and it is a beautiful story. I mean, it really gets you, and yes, so congratulations on that. How long did it take to do? Because I mean, obviously you have got that, you know, you're putting the story together, but also you're collating all that footage. So you know, how long did the process take?
6 month time for sending him to Syria, but I
In
think
Syria, I didn't really have much time. I was there only for 2 months, and it, you know, shooting in the war-torn city is completely different from shooting in a normal city, because in war-torn city you have timing, you can't go so much far, and you have some limitation, like you can't go some places more than 3 times because they will be superstitious to you, and it's possible that you get shot, you know. And I had like less than 3 days with Mr. Yellow in Syria, in Aleppo, because I was in Aleppo only for 3 weeks, and I spent 3 days with him, and we became friends, and less than 1 week I shoot all that stuff.
Wow.
You know, it was hard to make him trust. It
Yeah.
is the most important part in the documentary. You should make the guy trusted you, and it can't be happening with the lies. You know, that's something I say always, that if you want to make a good documentary from your character, you should be his friend or her friend. It's not possible with the lies, you know. And becoming a friend at least needed 3 days, and after 3 days he trusted me. I could see he don't have much reaction to my camera, and I started shooting him.
yeah, and
Wow.
it was not possible to send crew with Mahan
So I was
because
alone.
it was a bad situation over there, and he was alone with a guy just guiding him for 1 day, 2 days, and then himself and his camera.
You know, for me, it's easier to not have crew while doing documentary. Because if you even add one person to the crew, that will affect in the environment, you know, to the people, how they look at to you, how they will trust you. But nowadays, after smartphones start shooting from different people, they have less reaction. But with the camera, I had a handy cam, and that was all I had, which had a minigun on it, and I start shooting it. And it was easier, really. I don't like to have a lot of crew. Mostly I make my documentaries alone. It's better.
Yeah, wow. Yes, a one-man band.
Or production company.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's next? What's your next project?
I have two different projects. One is a feature film, is about Afghan youngster who after being deported from Europe will go to Syria to fight. It is a hell of craziest story that happens to him, and I think it will be ready less than 1 year. So my next project is a feature film about the Afghan youngster who will fight in Syria. It is crazy.
That's
And,
amazing. How about you? Yes.
I'm gonna document cemeteries in this situation in war zone countries like Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria. I'm gonna make a series, but for now I'm started with Iraq because it is more near to our region, and we have a old cemetery, very old ancient cemetery in Iraq. It's called Wadi Salam. I'm gonna make story of the cities of this country through the cemeteries.
Brilliant. Well, guys, thank you so much for chatting to us today. The simulation of Mr. Yellow is playing today, the 29th of April, as part of Documentary Shorts 1. You can get tickets at unrestrictedview.co.uk or uvff.co.uk. Guys, great chatting to you. Congratulations again on a brilliant, brilliant film.
Thank you.
See you soon. Take care.
Bye.